Man, so I don't really like making videos of myself, but I said I was gonna make one. I was gonna talk about this Ruck March, man, because it was crazy. So how it even came about is I saw the advertisement, the flyer for it back in like February, and I seen Ruck marches or whatever. I seen pictures, videos of it, but I never did it myself because like in the Air Force we really don't do it. I mean, unless you do something with like the Joint Army or whatever, or the Marines or something like that. We didn't do ruck marches in basic. The only thing as far as a ruck march that we did was walk with our green duffel bag and some low quarters across Lackland. Like, that's it. Nothing too crazy. So I was like, man, I'm here. I'm trying to lose weight. I like challenges. So I start asking about it, if people were doing it or whatever, and some guys in my unit said they did the last one. So I'm kind of getting their opinions and their thoughts on it, and yeah, they were telling me how brutal it was, and you know, if you finish in a certain time, you get a medal. So talking to one of the guys, Sergeant Williams, you know, black dude, great shape, and he was like, yeah, man, I didn't finish it. I got to about 15 miles in, and so he said his knees swole up. I was like, damn. So I was like, yo, if he couldn't finish it, I'm like, bro, I'm probably ain't. He in better shape than me. And then one of the other guys, with him, an older guy, he's like, yeah, I got about to the second lap. He was like, yeah, I was done. I was like, okay. And granted, these are all guard guys, by the way. So, and then one of the other guys, you know, older guy, I'd say he's late 40s, probably early 50s. He actually finished it, and he did it within maybe like 2 tiers below, or 1 or 2 tiers below the time that he had to do for his age group. And I was like, oh, dang. So now, you know, judging books by covers, I was like, bro, if he did it, I was like, man, I could do this. And you know, not knowing any background, you know, this man might be a marathon runner. I don't know nothing. I'm just going off of just the eye test. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I'm physically tough. I'm mentally tough. I'm resilient. I could push my body pretty far. So I was like, man, I think I'm gonna do it. And man, as it was coming up, I was like, man, am I really gonna try to do this thing? So there's just so many levels to it, man. I have never done anything like this. First of all, it's 18.6 miles. That's like 7 to 8 miles short of a marathon, dude. And I ain't never ran nothing that far in my life. I think the farthest I run was maybe like 4 or 5 miles at a time. So there's that. The distance is one thing. The second part is you got to do it in full uniform, like top on, everything. You don't need your hat, but you got to wear boots, and boots ain't comfortable being for a long period of time on your feet like that. So there's that. Also, the ruck, which they allow backpacks. So you had to have 24 pounds in your back while you're doing this. So there's a lot of rules to it, and you had to register, you had to do the safety briefing, and I'm just like, man, I ain't never done anything like this. And there was a guy that completed one of these from another base. He did it like in great time. He had a whole blueprint, like how to train for it and everything, and he sent it to me, and I looked at it, and I was like, okay, this is good stuff. And I was like, I just don't like it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to train. I just didn't want to train for it. I mean, I was doing my own normal thing on the treadmill or whatever, but I just didn't want to put in the effort to train for it. So I didn't. So when that day came, I tried to prepare just using the internet. Like, I carved up, you know, I ate some oatmeal, I ate like mashed potatoes. I ate a lot of rice. Um, I ate my eggs, my egg whites as normal. And I just ate a couple things with, some carbs in it. And I hydrated throughout the day. I had water, Gatorade, Pedialyte, all that stuff. And then I went out there, it started at 1 o'clock in the morning. Registration was at 11 that night. And yeah, man, it was a lot of people out there. I was shocked. I know Army people do this, they do this stuff all the time. But like Air Force, we don't really, unless you go out and do it on your own. Air Force, we don't ever have ruck marches, as far as I know. So yeah, man, went out there. There's a lot of people. I was like, man, it's crazy. Like, I'm walking out there. I'm like, bro, I can't believe I'm doing this. But it's volunteer. Like, there's no foul if I don't finish or if I don't get the medal or anything like that. I kind of just want to get the workout, and it's an excuse where everybody else is doing it, and I just want to go out there. So we get out there, and they're telling us all the, ins and outs or whatever, and we're at the starting line. And I had some pre-workout on me, and I just hit that whole thing. And then we took off. So I have no type of sense of like a pace or anything. I have nothing to compare to. So I'm just kind of doing it. I was doing math in my head as I was running, like, oh, how far can I go, and how much time can I do, and how much ground can I cover, all that kind of stuff. And man, I was doing really good. I actually, for someone that's never done this before, never ran this distance with weight on my back, I was doing really good. And I got to about almost 11 miles. I was somewhere around there, like late 1090-ish. And I was kind of doing like a jog and walk pace. I switched it up a lot. And man, there was this one time I tried to start jogging around 11 miles. Man, my legs locked up so bad. Just my muscles tightened up, both legs. Bad cramps. And it got so bad I couldn't stand on my feet no more. So I had to lay down to the side of the road. And I was just kind of waiting it out, hoping it would go away. And every time I tried to get up, man, it came back. And I was like, yo, this is terrible. So, some people were walking by and they're like, you okay, you good? And I was like, yeah, I got some cramps. I'm trying to wait it out. And they're like, all right. So there was a group chat for the race. And what I had told myself before I did this whole thing, it was like, if I ever got to a point where it was getting too much, or if I couldn't finish, then I could just opt out, not cause myself any more pain, and it'd just be done. I'm not expecting anything because I didn't train for it, and I just jumped out there. I mean, if you care about age, I'm fucking 39, so I mean, it is what it is. But I just kept trying to get up, and my legs was just kept tightening up, kept cramping. I was like, dang. So I had sat there for about a good 3-4 minutes, and then I got up at an angle to where I couldn't, feel any cramps coming back. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna try to continue this thing. I walked for a while, and then I tried to run again. Legs was like, nah, dog, you ain't running no more. So I was like, dang, man. I was doing so good. My pace was really good. When I was around that 11-mile mark, I still had 2 hours left to finish, and I could have made the medal time, which for my age group, the medal time was 4 hours and 35 minutes. And yeah, man, after that happened, I couldn't do it anymore. But I was like, you know what? It's like, the medal is out, it's cool, but we're gonna finish this thing. So I walked the rest of the way, and it sucked, man, because I wanted to run. Even later on, I kept trying to start running again, couldn't do it. Legs was just too tight, locked up. And it's crazy because I hydrated all throughout the day. And I ate. I was drinking throughout the race. They had snacks, stuff. I was drinking Gatorade, water, eating granola bars, banana, all that, and it just still, I couldn't get back. So I walked the rest of the time, and man, I walked all the way into the morning. Like, if you saw my story, like, I felt like I was probably the last one, but there was still some other people behind me, and yeah, man, it sucked. Like, I was disappointed because I knew that I could have done that in the time, but body just wouldn't allow it. So I finished though. It took me 5 hours and 25 minutes, or 5:28 was the official. So you think about that, and the women's time for my age group was 5:25. So you telling me I was on pace at 11 miles, and then I walked the rest, whatever that was, to 18.6, walking with 4 bathroom breaks. That's stopping in the Porta-John, using the bathroom, and then keep walking. And doing that, and I was still only 3 minutes within the women's time in my age group. So I don't want to put the women down. It's not their fault, but the standards are a little skewed. I'm just saying, the women I saw that were running it out there and doing it, they were killing it. They were doing it. I know they got the medal. I know they got it. It was way easier, but I kind of don't see the difference in gender when it comes to running. I mean, I looked up the marathon times, best marathon times in the world. You know, it was like 2 hours. And the difference between the men and women, 11 minutes. So if you train and you get your endurance up, women can run just as well as men. So I didn't agree with those standards, but it didn't matter. It's whatever. I still finished. And yeah, man, I will never do that shit again, ever. It was a good experience. My legs were still healing. My feet were on fire the whole time. And then I rested. I got the day off on Monday. I asked the boss, like, yo, can I just chill? And she was like, yeah. So then 2 days later, there was a glow in the dark run coming up, and I told myself, I was like, hey, if I didn't do this ruck march, I was gonna do this 5K, this fun run on the 2nd. Well, I went and did it anyway. My legs were still kind of healing, but I went and got it done, and I was like, yeah, what's 3.2 miles compared to 18.6 with no weight on my back? So I went ahead and did it, and it was fun, it was cool. Sprinted at the end with this girl. She was really fast. I was shocked. But yeah, man, I got it done, so I'm happy about it. Lost some weight, and yeah, that was my first ruck march, and probably the last one I will ever do.